This is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. A large cutlass-style knife is in the middle of the street on Coldharbour Lane, Brixton at 5 p.m. yesterday. This follows the murder of a 22-year-old male that was fatally stabbed outside Morley's chicken shop. Video footage from the scene shows people crying in the street, and some people have said this is a relative of the person that has died, and it really did show the shocking reality of what occurs every single day in cities across the UK. But due to the respect for the family and the victim, we won't be able to show that footage. We're going to show you as much as we can, and our reporter Dave Nathan is at the scene to try to get coverage and also to give as much insight as possible without interfering with the investigation. The only information we know for sure at the moment is that a 22-year-old male was stabbed in the Brixton area outside shops on Valentia Road and Gresham Road just before 5 p.m. on October the 3rd. Police and paramedics rushed to the busy road where they tried to resuscitate him, but he died at the scene. Police confirmed they were called to reports of a stabbing at 4:45 p.m. and were joined by the ambulance service, and they found a male with a knife injury. So I want to send my condolences to the family of the person that is yet to be named. We do have a local name for him, but I'm not going to say that until we get his official name, and we'll definitely follow up with this story as it develops throughout the day. It was only 2 days before that a 16-year-old boy was stabbed to death in Edmonton, North London. Police have now identified the victim, and they said in their initial statements that they were called at 11:30 on Sunday the 1st of October to a stabbing in Kendall Gardens, N18. Police attended along with the ambulance service, and tragically, despite their best efforts, the 16-year-old died at the scene. Detectives have now identified the victim as 16-year-old Tay Fake, who was from the local area. Detective Constable Inspector Joanna York from the Specialist Crime Command said this is a tragic incident of another young person that has lost their life on the streets of London. We are in the early stages of the investigation, and it is a fast-moving investigation. They are also appealing for anybody that was in the local area, and a post-mortem is scheduled to take place on the 4th of October to establish the cause of death. Detective Chief Superintendent Caroline Haynes, the senior officer responsible for the Metropolitan North unit, said, "I would like to thank the local people for their patience as officers have conducted inquiries in the local area today and yesterday. There will continue to be a high police presence in the area and ongoing activity in the neighbourhood in the coming days, and they encourage people in the community to speak to officers if they have any information or concerns that they wish to share." So please pay respects to Tay in the comments, and we'll definitely keep you updated on any charges or trial that follow on from this story, and my condolences to his friends and family. In this next story coming from Croydon, our reporter Dave Nathan was at the scene after the murder that occurred on the 2nd of October. A 42-year-old male was found with stab wounds outside of the address in Typhoon Way. Officers and ambulance service attended, and he was treated at the scene, but he died as a result of his injuries. His family have been made aware, and a post-mortem examination will be held in due course. A crime scene remains in the location, and a woman was arrested on suspicion of making threats to kill, and she was taken to custody before being released on bail. The investigation is led by Detective Chief Inspector Mike Nolan from the Specialist Crime Unit, and he said the investigation is in the very early stages. Specially trained officers are supporting the victim's family, and they have assurances that officers will do everything they can to bring justice to whoever is responsible for this senseless act of violence. We have spoken to a number of people, and they still want to hear from anybody that has doorbell footage or dashcam footage and was in the local area at the time. There is an increased police patrol in the local area as well, and this story is very strange also because there was a fire at the address that this person is believed to have lived at 2 hours before he was murdered. The fire service released a statement to say that 2 fire engines and around 10 officers attended a fire in a mid-terraced house on Typhoon Way in Wallington yesterday evening. The brigade was called at 6:30 and the incident was over by 7:15. A small amount of garden furniture and the first floor window suffered damage, as well as some guttering, and the crews from the Croydon area were in attendance. So this fire is meant to have occurred at the same address that the man is believed to have lived at. This hasn't been confirmed by the police, but locals have said this, and also there is a lot of evidence to suggest that the fire and him being found in the street are connected. But we'll definitely keep you updated on that story, and my condolences to the man that hasn't been named yet, but we'll definitely keep you updated on any future progression with that story. And in this next story, this is an update on a case that I covered a couple of days ago. The murder of a 15-year-old schoolgirl on a bus in Croydon. Eliane Andam was murdered in front of her friends, allegedly by a 17-year-old boy accused of stabbing her multiple times. The youth is alleged to have killed Ellie as she made her way to school in Croydon, and she was with two friends last Wednesday morning when she was fatally attacked. It said the attacker was wearing a mask and gloves and removed a large knife from his waistband and stabbed her repeatedly. He then fled the scene and others attempted to administer first aid, but her life could not be saved. The defendant was arrested in New Addington at 9:45 a.m. the same day by police, and the prosecution in the case has said this was an alleged brutal attack. On Monday, the 17-year-old defendant appeared at the Old Bailey charged with murder and also possession of a knife. He wore black sweaters, grey jogging bottoms and sat between two officers in the dock. The judge in charge of the trial said that this is a provisional trial and the actual trial will take place on April the 29th next year. So due to the fact that this is an ongoing case and the trial, we don't want to say anything that may affect it, and I'd really appreciate it if nobody said anything in the comments that may influence the trial and prevent a family from getting justice or from somebody getting a fair trial. So I really appreciate everybody that has supported that last story, and my condolences to the family of Eliane Andam and also her friends as well who witnessed that traumatic event that would definitely have an effect on them for the rest of their lives. So I really appreciate you joining me for these updates. I'm going to do another episode talking about national knife crime and the amount of murders that have been related to knife crime in the last few days, and that will be up in the next day or two. So I really appreciate everyone's support. Please don't forget to follow on social media, because if you don't follow the channel, you won't be able to see the stories, you won't be able to support, and YouTube, Instagram, Facebook do a very good job of trying to suppress news that really matters. So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and check out the latest updates on scarcitystudios.com, and I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Peace.
LSCO. Fine, yes, right.
Good afternoon. I am Andy Brixton, the local policing commander for South London, and I'm here today to provide an update on our investigation. Shortly after 8:30 this morning, we responded to a stabbing here in Coldharbour. Our officers were on scene within 2 minutes of the call being received. They provided emergency first aid along with paramedics from the London Ambulance Service and the London Air Ambulance. Sadly, despite their efforts, a 15-year-old girl died at the scene. This is every parent's worst nightmare, and I know the officers who responded this morning, along with our emergency service colleagues, are devastated at the victim's death. This is emotion I share, and I know people across Croydon will be feeling the same. The victim's family has been informed, and our thoughts are with them at what must be an incredibly difficult time. We carried out urgent inquiries to find the suspect, and within 75 minutes of the incident happening, a 17-year-old boy was arrested for a new alibi. He remains in custody and will be questioned by detectives. We remain in the early stages of our investigation. However, based on what we know so far, we believe that we are not looking for anyone else in connection with this offence. From our initial inquiries, we believe the suspect may have known the victim. However, we are not in a position to release the victim's identity at this time. We will work with our community contacts over the coming days to ensure those directly affected get the right support to ensure the wider community works together. I know there have been many questions about what has happened here today. Our specialist team of homicide detectives will be working to find those answers, and we will update you as the investigation continues. We are joined here today by Donna Murray Turner, Croydon resident and safe neighbourhood, also by Sarah Jones, MP for Croydon.
Good afternoon. Just to say that this had devastating that another young life has been taken, and we the community stand with our partners and family. I'm heartbroken that a child in my town has been given away to school. I cannot imagine that family is going through at this time. I want to thank the police and the ambulance services for trying so hard to save her life. They run into danger, and I know they will be suffering today too. I want to repeat the request from the police that if anyone has any information or anything, please do get in touch. We all hold our children close, and our community will take time to grieve, but for today, we are just thinking of this young girl and her family. I'm so sorry.
Thank you very much. I think it's fair to say that we all personally feel devastated by the events that have happened here in Croydon this morning, and the tragic loss of such a young life. The community are feeling that hurt right now, and we will do everything we can to support the community.